Hey there guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Speedrun Link's Awakening DX 100%. In the last episode, we made our way here to Dungeon 7, and in this episode we're going to be kind of breaking it wide open with bomb triggers. But, so to start with, when we enter the dungeon, you want to clear the dungeon text and change your equips to Boots and Boomerang. And here you kind of, if you can, I mean this isn't very important, it's a small optimization, but if you can quickly wall clip in here, that'll probably be a little bit better because this spike trap won't really stop you as much or push you back. Here's one of the reasons we want the Boomerang. You can actually pick up the key. That way, the only two things you need to kill in this room are the two likes. So if you can avoid killing the anti-fairy, that's probably more efficient, but the Boomerang can kill the anti-fairy, so he won't be able to troll you as well. Coming up here, here's our first major sequence break of the dungeon. That's the mirror shield. We're supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff, but we just throw the Boomerang diagonally and kind of break the dungeon. This is sort of like one of the more casually known sequence breaks in the game. I feel like a lot of people knew that growing up, but here's something that we're gonna do that most people didn't know about. Change back to bombs here, and just drop a bomb and throw Boomerang pretty much at the same time, and get back onto this block before the bomb goes off. That's important. And another thing that is important is getting through this room without using the bracelet. You can do it, but the timing is a little tight. There you go. Just like that. Worst case, I mean, if you have trouble with that room, you can always just put on like Boots and Bracelet, go pull this lever down and boot on over here or something. But the important thing is that you get over to this side, and you don't need the metal ball. In this room, the only enemy you need to care about killing is this third one to the left. The reason for that, I'm not entirely sure why this is the case, but the bomb triggers we're about to do will not work if that third enemy over on the left here is still alive. These two don't really matter. It's just this third one that matters. He needs to be dead for these to work. Now these bomb triggers, there are a couple of different ways of doing these. So ideally the fastest way would be to drop two bombs into this pit within 4 frames of each other, and that should look something like this, or not. There we go. So that's kind of the fastest way to do this, is just, you know, and I'm gonna do this on keyboard since my double taps are not really great on controller. They're not really great on keyboard either, apparently. But so that's kind of the fastest way to do that set of rooms. But there are several buffered strats if you can't double tap within 4 frames, like without wasting bombs. And the one important thing to note: do not mash during this. Double tap, because if you mash, you're much more likely to end up with something like that. You don't want to do that. So worst case, if you're really bad at double tapping, you can pause buffer this. It's a little slower because obviously pause screens, but it's much better than losing all of your bombs on this. So as long as you pause within 4 frames of the bomb falling into the pit, you just pause buffer another bomb out of there and you'll be good to go. And you can do this, oh, whoops. You can do this with all 3 of the bomb triggers. Now there is another way that you can buffer these, but it is a good bit slower since, well, I mean, I guess it's not that much slower, but it's like an additional 2 seconds slower since you would actually need to change your equips for it. You can just do a screen transition bomb trigger, like you would see with like with Walrus Skip, which isn't in this category. But so all you do is you jump and line yourself up with the screen transition, and then just pause. Oh yeah, no, this is a double buffered. I forgot. Oops. Do this, then pause again, and there you go. Yeah, I kind of forgot that it's a double pause buffered one because I haven't really done this form of bomb trigger in a while. So that's kind of what the other buffered strat would look like. The thing is, for that, it's a good bit slower since you'll need to initially put on the feather over your boomerang. So it's preferred to just if you're gonna buffer at all, just do these ones. So then for what we're gonna do next, we're gonna put on our sword and feather, gonna super jump over here. Now this is very important. Absolutely, whatever you do, do not use a bomb arrow on this wall. You have to use a regular bomb. One really weird quirk about bomb triggers that like nobody really knows why this happens, but if you use an arrow at any point, if you use the bow, whether it's bomb arrows or regular arrows, then bomb triggers will no longer work. So if you blow this up with the bomb arrow, this last bomb trigger will not work. So you have to use a regular bomb here. And that applies with all bomb triggers. Like, you have to kind of change the quote-unquote world that you're in. So, like, you would have to exit and re-enter the dungeon in order to make bomb triggers work again. And if you're in the overworld, you need to enter and exit a cave or something like that, you know? So that's something you absolutely want to take note of, is do not bomb arrow this wall. And then this one, we're just going to do the same type of bomb trigger that we were doing, that I was just showing you, except this one does not need to be double buffered. For whatever reason, this one just is fine to not be double buffered. And that is that. Although, actually, one small optimization I failed to do is when you're pausing for lining up, like, let's say I'm about to do the bomb trigger, it's actually faster to equip your boots here because you're going to want your boots equipped for the next section of the dungeon anyway. So equip the boots and then do the bomb trigger. And then what we're going to do is we're coming in here, falling into that particular pit, and getting a secret seashell. So that is number 19. We only have one more to go. And now avoid this guy. I have in the past, I've been hit into one of these pits by a fireball. Try to avoid that, but that's kind of luck. Here you can just wall clip past these guys, but it is kind of RNG whether they'll let you or not. But yeah. So, whoops. This room, what you want to do is start a boot dash and then put on sword and feather, and then jump and buffer, like buffer up and up, feather, and sword, and you should jump and hit that crystal switch all in one go and end up right around here, which we needed to do to get these blocks down. You don't really need these bombs, I don't think, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And it costs like a quarter of a second, so you might as well get them. Jump to avoid this door lag. Just jump this way and charge up a spin slash or something so that you can kill these guys. Now coming up here is probably the single hardest super jump in the game, to be totally frank. This is going to skip the boss key, which we need to get up here to get to the boss. Now, if this bomb trigger is like the thing that's preventing you from starting doing runs and everything, like you just can't do it, whatever, the boss, or the mini boss, is right here, and the boss key is directly north of here. The mini boss is a super big pushover. You just kill all of these things by slashing your sword, and then you leave, and that's it. But the super jump isn't too hard, and it just takes a little bit of practice and timing. It's the hardest super jump in the game, but that doesn't mean it's like super difficult or anything. So basically what we're going to do is similar to the super jump in Dungeon 4 to get the boss key there. We're going to be clinking off of a P-hat. The thing that makes it a little bit more difficult than that one is the fact that we are going to be super jumping and then clinking off the P-hat in 2 separate sword swings, whereas clinking off the P-hat in D4 was just a single sword swing. So what we want to do, this is what the room looks like. Want to make sure you're clipped in here. You're going to super jump and then slash to the right to clink off the P-hat as it's moving. So that's the important thing, is you can't wait too long or else the P-hat will get out of position. So you've got to do it somewhat fast. Whoops. The nice thing is, though, it is fairly forgiving because if you mess it up, all you need to do is just reset the room like this. Whoop. Like that. There you go. And you do need to be careful. I kind of think of it as a set of 3 inputs because I kind of do my 2 sword slashes, and then as soon as I land on the blocks, I jump upright, because that BMOS can kind of wreck you and knock you outside the pit, or outside these blocks, which is not a soft lock. I'll show you how to fix that in just a sec. So, whoops. And so that was me being a little too far to the right. So there, that's kind of what this should look like. And then come over here and we will have skipped the boss key. So just one more time, I'll show that, and then I will show, whoops, I'm too far to the left, or right. There you go. So now let's say the BMOS hits you off the ledge, or you mess up, oh no, I'm over here, I'm doomed forever. Well, you're not. It's not too big a deal. You just need to know what to do and just not panic. That's the big thing. So all you need to do is basically there's that, dude, this guy is so annoying. There's that hook shot or that hook shot invulnerability glitch that I showed you in Dungeon 8. All you need to do is just hook shot an item. I actually don't know if you need to do the invulnerability. I don't think you do. But whenever you hookshot an item, it actually, like, while you're up against the wall, it'll push you ever so slightly into the wall, just far enough that you can super jump. So literally all you need to do to get out of this mess is you just hookshot the pot and then super jump. And there you go. You are saved. So that is pretty much everything in this dungeon, because the boss is kind of a pushover. I fire my magic rod over here as, like, before I hookshot, just because these Goombas can get in the way sometimes. So this boss has a quick kill, but it's not very difficult at all. There are a couple of different ways that you can do the quick kill. There's one that's exclusive to save and quit categories, and then there's one that you can do in all categories, and it's a little bit easier. So basically, for this quick kill, what you want to do is you want to wait for the boss, like the bird's head, to line up with the ladder. Right there, and then just start firing magic rod down. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a very simple quick kill. You just basically want his hitbox to be directly over the ladder, and then you hit him with magic rod and then start firing down, because for whatever reason his hitbox is, like, if you fire down you'll just hit his hitbox also. It's kind of weird. I don't know how it works. I'm sure other people in the community do. I just don't. So the reason this doesn't work in save and quit or no save and quit categories is because for whatever reason there's an invisible wall that blocks his hitbox off on the southern side of or like on the, bottom of the ladder, if you've never save and quit before in a run. But as soon as you save and quit, that invisible wall goes away. It's super arbitrary and really weird. I don't really know why it works that way, but so here's the other way that you can do the quick kill. It's much simpler, but about the same difficulty, honestly. Or less precise, I'll say. So just go down off the ladder and then just start firing. Like, as soon as he starts flying away, just go off the ladder and then start firing your magic rod left and right. And there you go. He's dead. It's very, very simple, but a good bit slower than the other quick kill strat I showed you. Here, make sure your fire rod, like, lines up, or hits the wall, and then you can hookshot this heart container. Like, if you're over here, your hookshot will just go right past the heart container, so I do this to confirm that I'm kind of wall-clipped, and then you can grab the heart container that way. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, and then here we can do some, do a fun little graphical glitch called Wang, if you want. Oh, well, I got a side wang, but regardless, just if you're climbing the stairs, just use the magic rod and you can get some fun graphical glitches that way. But that's pretty much it for the episode. This was a little longer than I was actually expecting this episode to be, but I guess I felt it necessary to explain all of the backup strats. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. And in the next episode, we will be making our way to Dungeon 6. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will see you next time.